Hey, you guys have tuned into Zillow surfing. On this channel, we surf Zillow. If you're not familiar with the term Zillow surfing, back during the health emergency during 2020, 2021, a lot more people were looking for homes. A lot of people were working from home. They needed more office space. They just needed a bigger home. A lot of people wanted a pool in the backyard or even just a backyard period just because everything was shut down. People were cooped up in their homes and they wanted more space. Also, people had a lot more time on their hands. So watching YouTube videos, listening to podcasts, or even just browsing Zillow. I think it was recently discovered that 70% of people who browse Zillow aren't even looking for a home or aren't even in the market for a home. So a lot of people browse Zillow for entertainment, and that's what Zillow surfing is, just kind of browsing fun homes. Normally it's like really expensive, luxury, large homes, homes in unique locations. But in today's video, we're actually going to be looking at the cheapest home, the cheapest single-family home in Illinois. In a video a day or two ago, I did the most expensive home in Illinois. I believe it was a $27,500,000 home with 500 square feet of Lake Michigan shoreline. And I believe it was in Deerfield or somewhere up on the North Shore. In today's video, we're actually going to be looking at the cheapest home in Illinois, and this one's located in Mt Vernon. Now, since I started making this video, I actually saw we had another one pop up that's even cheaper. This one is $1,500. And let's see if we can look at some of these photos. Obviously this home is pretty much charred and burnt. I believe this home's most likely going to have to probably be demolished and restarted. So we're not going to consider this the cheapest home in Illinois. We're going to be taking a look at this home in Mt Vernon. And you know what? Housing is out of control everywhere, right? Housing is unaffordable. If you're in a desirable area due to weather, like Southern California, it's obviously going to be very expensive. In recent years, the Southeast has gotten really popular, as has Texas. In a lot of cities like Charleston, South Carolina, and suburbs around it, homes have doubled and even tripled in price in some instances. The Midwest has seen some appreciation, but not nearly what some nicer areas have. And for the state of Illinois, Illinois has actually been losing residents for the past 10 or 20 years. The taxes aren't great. We don't have the best weather. It's dark and gray a good portion of the year. We don't really have the best gun laws. There's just not really a whole lot keeping people in Illinois. Chicago is a great city, especially in the summertime. But even despite Chicago being a great city in a lot of ways, the weather just drives a lot of people away. So the Midwest doesn't really get the home price appreciation that a lot of areas do. Though I will say a lot of the nicer suburbs in the Chicagoland area, it could easily cost you $1 million or more for a home, and you're just kind of in another Chicago suburb. Nothing like super fancy, super interesting about it. But let's hop into this one. So this is in Mt Vernon, Illinois. I actually went to college with a kid from Mt Vernon, Illinois, and he used to grow pot in farm fields. And I remember one time he took a bunch of us out there, and we picked all the pot that was grown in the cornfields and brought it back to school. And it was full of seeds and stuff, but it was free weed, so that was cool. Mt Vernon is about an hour, 15 minutes, maybe an hour, 30 minutes east, slightly northeast of St. Louis. I looked into the town or the city a little bit. Not a whole lot to say about it from a positive perspective. I guess there's a tire factory or a tire plant there that employs a lot of people. A lot of people said outside of that, you're probably working at gas stations or fast food restaurants. Not a lot of job opportunities. Not a whole lot in terms of like dining, shopping. It's a smaller town. But this is the cheapest home in Illinois right now. I will say there are some cheap homes that you can get in Illinois that are in halfway decent areas. If you start getting further out into the Chicago suburbs, like over an hour, north, south, or west of Chicago, there are some affordable homes out there. And in some instances, there's even metro trains that run into the city. Not that would be a super fun commute. If you want to live in a college town like Bloomington Normal or Champaign, where University of Illinois is, or even Eastern Illinois by Charleston. Homes in Charleston have gone up a little bit, but when I was I lived down in Charleston, Illinois for a brief bit, and it's a college town, so there's a lot of students looking for housing. You used to be able to pick up houses down there for 20, 25 grand, maybe 50 grand on the high end for something a little bit nicer. And the way they do the leases out there with the college students is each student gets like their own lease. So, each student who rents a bedroom, it's like, say, 200, 225, 250. This is some years back. But if you get 4 kids in a 4-bedroom house paying you $250 a month, that's $1,000 a month right there. So you're bringing in $12,000 a year in rent on a home that in theory might cost you as little as 25 grand. You could theoretically, obviously some of it's going to be going to the mortgage payment and interest and upkeeping the house, but you could theoretically probably pay this house off in 2 to 3 years. So it was kind of an interesting hustle from that perspective, although the college has been losing enrollment. But this is like kind of a downstate Illinois town. The home is $2,900. They recently had an $1,100 price cut. As we'll see here from the photos, and I don't think we really have any interior photos, but there is a big hole in the roof, but it does look like this home can probably be salvaged. This one is at 820 South 20th Street, Mount Vernon, 62864. You're only paying $3 a square foot. This home was built, over 100 years ago in 1910. It doesn't look like it was over 100 years ago. The lot is 8,712 feet. You got no HOA. Let's see what they say about this home. Wonderful value on this 3-bed, 1-bath, single-family home in Mount Vernon, Illinois. Great options for owner-occupant or financial investment. The property was recently foreclosed by the local sheriff and has a clean title. Seller is liquidating a large inventory of homes. Exterior showing curb viewing only. No inside pictures available. Their loss is your gain. Currently on the city's condemnation list. Okay, so you either won't be able, you'll either have to knock this home down and build something new, or it'll take a lot of work to bring it out of condemnation. Photos, marketing comments, and due diligence items are provided for guidance purposes only. By making an offer on this property, the buyer represents they have independently verified all information. Let's look at the price history and also the taxes. So price history. Tried to sell this earlier in the year for $4 grand, $5 grand. Let's see, like, if this home. So, 2024, they listed this for 15 grand, never sold. Let's look at the taxes. I'm curious. Illinois historically has kind of higher taxes. Okay, not bad. $353 in 2021. Okay, so cheap property tax. I'm kind of surprised they're that cheap, even though it is downstate Illinois. We don't really have much to look at, but let's see. Okay, you can see kind of the roof is kind of pulling away and bowing here. Looks like we need all new windows. The roof is mossy. We need a new roof. We need a hole patched in the roof. So this one is in pretty rough shape. I always kind of thought was interesting. When you're driving in smaller towns and rural areas and people live in either apartment buildings or little neighborhoods like this where houses are close together, I get some people like a slower pace of life and everything. But if I'm going to be away from shopping, away from dining, away from jobs, away from healthcare, I might as well take advantage of being out there and have some land or have some space to myself. So the idea that you're going to move so far away from like civilization, so to speak, and then be right on top of your neighbors, I don't really get. Looks like there's like a corner bar over here by this house. And just to show you some kind of context. So St. Louis to your northwest is about an hour and 15, hour and 30 minutes. Evansville, Indiana, decent-sized town. Bloomington, Indiana, college town, but you're probably looking at a couple hours to get there. I'm guessing Chicago's going to be a good 4.5 hours. So yeah, this is the cheapest home in Illinois. This is in Mount Vernon, $2,900. $2,900 could get you this house in Mount Vernon. I know a lot of people like online talk about like, why don't people move to towns like this and revive them? I don't know that this one would make sense just because it's kind of so far out there, but like with so many people working remote, what if all these people working remote wound up buying cheap homes in some of these cities, redoing their house, fixing up the house? Slowly businesses will come in to cater to these people, or maybe some of the people that move to these towns can kind of revive these towns, and then you have kind of a flourishing town in central Illinois. Easier said than done, but what do you guys think about this home? Would you buy it? Would you live in it? If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. If you got any thoughts, comments, or opinions on this home, or if you know anything about Mount Vernon, maybe you know an interesting fact about Mount Vernon, drop it in the comments section below. And if you want to see more of these Zillow surfing videos where we look at the most expensive homes, the cheapest homes, some unique homes, homes in different areas, be sure to hit that subscribe button down below and ring the bell. As always, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next video.